RTE reclassified employees have been forced into yellow pack contracts where terms and conditions are far less than if they had been legally classified as employees in the first instance. And how can you, to you Jeekins, stand over such contracts? Could you give a percentage of what numbers you think there of those 297 that might have decided themselves that they didn't want?
No, I don't have that, because one of the issues which you have to realise is that as trade unions, when we were dealing with the Evershed process, we actually were dealing that with our hands behind our back, because we didn't have a list of people who were on bogus self-employed contracts. We have no access to that information. The only time that we, as unions, knew who was on that list is if people came to us individually. Many people on those lists actually may not be union members at all.
The way you're talking, you think there's two silos. You're working in a silo that you didn't know what was going on, like a big wall between you and the management. Did you not have representation on the board, staff?
I never used the word silo. That's your word. Yeah. I said that in relation to this process, RTE were bound by, or True Health have bound by data protection. There is an elected board member, of course, but they don't deal with, no more than this committee, they don't deal with day-to-day HR issues. But the issue of bogus self-employment was consistently raised at board level over many, many years by a number of members of the RTE authority, including Patricia King during her tenure on it.
Could I ask then, I'm sure you're aware that misclassification of workers as bogus self-employed is a criminal offence under the Social Welfare Consolidation Act 2005. Were you aware of that, or are you aware of that?
I see you read the same tweets as me.
Excuse me.
The reality...
I don't read any tweets. I never tweeted in my life, so if you want to be acting to tweet now, you can, but I never tweeted. I didn't read any tweets. I'm not told what to say either by anybody.
I am clearly aware, and all trade union officials are aware of the law of the land. And in fact, that is why we insisted that there should be an appeal in relation to misclassification for people who felt that they should be classified. And that's why we accepted the nomination of Peter Ward, Senior Counsel, who I think probably was aware that misclassification is illegal.
But I mean, an appeal process, surely you should be jumping up and down looking for prosecutions. The law has been flouted hundreds of thousands of times on an ongoing basis. And you want to be part of that institution and are part of it. I've said from the outset is the fraud squad should be brought into RTE and CAB, and it most certainly is. Why aren't you looking for the fraud squad to be brought in to where the 2005 Consolidation Act has been broken, continually broken?
In my experience, Deputy, jumping up and down gets headlines, but in industrial relations it doesn't actually.
You haven't got up at all. You have to say plenty. And I'm hearing you often on radio, and I had more respect for you than I have today because you're being smart. Why? You have a responsibility to the yellow pack workers, and you're not the only union throughout the public service that have allowed yellow pack workers to be introduced everywhere. I mean, cosy deals, because you deal with governments and departments, and to hell with the Dina Bioga, the small people. So I'm asking you now, what action did you take to secure and ensure that the Gardaí investigated? It's illegality at a large scale. It's disgusting. I'm as an employer, if I did it, I'd be frozen by the revenue, and I'd be in jail if I didn't pay the money. RTE told us they had 50 million away in contingency fund to deal with revenue. That is illegal. No other employer in the country gets that kind of preference. So it's time there was a big shake-up out there, both union side and the cabal that run it, because you're all part of the same cabal as far as I'm concerned. What did you do? What did you do about having those people prosecuted?
Deputy, I do. Sorry, Deputy. I just I'm very conscious in this that everyone has a right to fair process, and if I want us to focus on some of the evidence, the facts where there are allegations of criminal wrongdoing.
Yes, it is criminal.
You just, those views that you're expressed, they're your own views, not those of the committee.
Oh, I mean, they've accepted. I think Mr. Dooley has accepted that it wasn't right. It's not right. Well, under the 2005 Consolidation Act, it's a criminal offence to have
I appreciate you're making an allegation, but there's a process there that does need to be followed. And I'm just asking you to be careful in your questioning.
That's why I'm asking the good people here, what action are they taking, strenuous action, to represent the people who have been misclassified by their employer and been punished, and the yellow pack workers that were trucked out the door. He said some weren't trade union reps. He couldn't tell me how many went voluntary. So there's a lot of work to be done out there on your side as well. So I'm asking, what action have you taken? Anybody can answer.
Yeah, Deputy, just
demanding that this issue be investigated. But for the whistleblower, we wouldn't know anything about it.
Well, Deputy, if you don't know about it, it's just simply because you haven't been following it. And at the earlier stage of this hearing, I outlined the fact that 20 years ago, we were responsible for a review conducted by good bodies which ended the process of bogus self-employment.
Why is the law being flouted openly? And I've seen RTE investigations, and I admire a lot of the work to do, but I've seen them go down to Tipperary and punish a decent company and mislead and put a secret camera into something and totally blackguard a businessman who's now since dead. And you can do all this in the name of honesty and transparency and wrong that company, grievously wronged them, but they've no comeback. Once it goes out there on national TV, you know, you can't kill a lie, and it was a lie, but you want to do that to you want to be judge of other business people and other people out there, but yet this rotten system continues, and I call it rotten and I mean rotten. That's what it is.
I think you might not be aware that Philip Boucher Hayes actually did a series on drive time and on bogus self-employment. One programme in particular.
Talking about it within RTE.
Yes, absolutely, that is RTE. It's on.
He's an insider. He works for RTE. That answers my question. The cat is minding the cream. Well, for God's sake, he's an insider.
The point I was making.
Listen, do you have a final question, Deputy McGrath?
I do, in desperation. It's time that this golden circle was cracked and shattered for once and for all. And sadly, you're a big part of it, the unions, not the workers. I meet most decent people out there when I'm left in there, very seldom, ordinary people, and I'm very fond of them, and good workers, and their jobs need to be protected. But you're part of the system, and you're happy to be part of the system, and you've done nothing about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy McGrath.